Thanks for watching Numbskull News. And today I got something a little special for you. We're talking about the Monty show. Yeah, that's right. Seems like they got a new enemy in Immaculate. Now, maybe you've seen this guy. He's been on Locked On Big 12. Big 12 Mafia, of course. He's on there. You constantly see him around Greg Flugar's channel when he's doing a live stream. And even once in a while, he'll come in on some of my Wednesday night live streams and talk. Cool guy. I like him. Intelligent fella. However, here comes Monty again, wanting to speak like he's the oracle of information about realignment in the Big 12 and everything else. Well, punk ass, you ain't. You ain't. And I got some video evidence to prove it. So, let's get into this shit.
Once and for all, set the record straight on whether or not Oregon State and Washington State are going to the Big 12. And the answer is an unequivocal not happening.
What? This guy's brilliant. This guy's brilliant. If he says it's true, if he tries to tell you gravity is not a thing, your ass better tie yourself to the ground. All right, because he knows unequivocally, whatever that means, he knows.
Here's why, and I want to put this out. I want you to have the information.
Oh, the information.
I am not going to give you one bit of my opinion in this next 5 minutes. I want you to understand that. I am going to present the facts to you.
Oh, just the
questions
facts.
Presented by a lot of just delusional people who I don't believe have any idea what they're talking about. Center around the fact that the powers that be in college football, the P4s, the SECs, the ACCs, the Big 12, the Big 10, ESPN, don't want any of the information leaked out there, doing everything they can do to protect America from knowing that Oregon State and Washington State are the only two teams left, and they'd be getting $600 million over the next 2 years. Okay, well, here are the facts of the case. That's completely not true. The college...
Again, he doesn't know what he's talking about, but he does a good job pretending like he knows. I'll give him that. He'll take partial information and then say that's all the information. And he sounds convincing when he says it. Amazing.
College football playoff in no way, shape, or form, under any circumstance at all, is going to pay the Pac-12, whether it's 12 teams, 2 teams, no teams. They are never getting a payout of $600 million. They are not getting a $320 million payout. That's just not how the system works. I am going.
Of course, we don't really know the real number of 2024 or 2025 when it expands to 12 teams in the CFP. You dumb son of a bitch. But, why bring that up?
I'm going to put up a graphic on the screen for you now.
Oh, it's a graphic.
Is from the college football playoff
website,
a
graphic.
Where you can see the distributions.
Woo,
in
graphic.
2023-24, each conference will receive $300,000 for each of its schools when the school's football team meets the NCAA's APR, so essentially their academic and on-field requirements for participation in postseason football. Each independent institution will receive $300,000 when its football team meets the standard. So under nowhere, no way, no how, in the economic distribution of college football, is there a path for the Pac-2 to get $600 million? It's simply not true.
Okay, well, that's part of the information. Is there anything more he's going to be willing to share with us?
Stop believing that. Read the second line. A conference will receive $6 million from each team that is selected.
The second line is about teams who actually make it to the playoff. All right, which is not what we're talking about.
Selected for a college football playoff semifinal. So if you win a bowl game, you get it.
Oh, good God, he's going to explain it.
Into the semifinal, you'll get $6 million. Not
Yay.
600 million, not 300 million, $6 million. And if you go to point 3, each conference whose team participates in a playoff semifinal, Cotton Fiesta or Peach Bowl, or in the national championship game will receive $2.85 million to cover expenses for each game.
See, one thing that should be a tip-off for this dumbass, all right, it says each conference whose team participates in a playoff semifinal. And it lists Cotton, Fiesta, or Peach. All right, it does not say, it's leaving some out, isn't it? It's leaving some of those others out, like the Rose Bowl. Well, the Rose Bowl, you dumb fuck, the Rose Bowl is going to be included in 2024, 2025 going forward. That was the big holdup, was getting the Rose Bowl on board. He's using old information is what he's doing. This is what's basing his argument. Damn. He's not intelligent enough to figure this out. And besides, he was saying, well, it's 300,000 per school. Nowhere is it 320 million. And then you go down here, each of the 10 conferences received a base amount, which is talked about up here. For the conferences that have contracts for the championships to participate in the Orange, Rose, or Sugar Bowls, the base combined with the full academic performance pool was approximately $79.4 million for each conference. $79.4 million. The 5 conferences that do not have contracts for their championships to participate in the Orange, Rose, or Sugar Bowls received approximately $102.77 million in aggregate. Full academic pool plus base. If you notice, 102 gets a hell of a lot closer than the 300,000 for each school. All right, but that's not how he was talking about that first portion, right? He's reading shit he doesn't even understand. All right, trying to prove a point. Because see, none of these numbers say 300 million. That's because you fucking dipshit is talking about the academic year of 2023, which we are still in, 2024. Right? The new playoff is after next year's regular season. So the 2024 regular football season is ends in November, late November. So it really, technically, that first 12-team playoff doesn't start. We're not going to see it on TV until 2025. So all of this shit right here doesn't pertain to that, you fat fuck. But let's continue anyway.
Under no circumstance is there a path.
Oh, he's not even going to talk about the $102 million payoff right now? For teams that don't have a contractual obligation to the Cotton, well, not the Cotton Bowl, but the Orange Bowl and the Rose Bowl and shit like that. He's not even going to talk about that? Oh, we're just going to give you the straight information, though. Nothing of my opinion. He does exactly what mainstream media does. They cut out this shit they don't want to talk about that doesn't fit their narrative and goes into this. Then he wants to attack people that are, as far as channel size, footprint on Twitter, whatever you call it. Monty's got a big old channel now. He does. I don't. I got a tiny little footprint. I'm nothing. Locked on Big 12 guy, Mr. Toll, he kind of took over for Josh Neighbors. Josh Neighbors built that thing up. He's trying to continue to build it. And, it's got a little bit of a footprint. That's why he heard about this. That's why he's calling Immaculate a conspiracy theorist wearing a tinfoil hat when none of it's conspiracy. But let's listen to him ramble on a little further. Then I'm going to kind of cut that point off.
For Oregon State and Washington State to each receive $320 million. It's not true. I spoke to several sources today. One sources. Of them in the Big 12 who told me point blank there have been no conversations about Oregon State and Washington State joining the conference. We are focused on building the business of the Big 12. Unequivocally.
It seems like he seems like you read Brett McMurphy, right? He watched him on 365 Sports, a legitimate news site as far as college football or college sports go. 365 Sports is the legitimate lane to be in. Monty, hey, I got several subscribers that are members of the Monty Show. They pay membership dues so that they can, I don't know, play circle jerk on Instagram or something. That's fine. Hey, once in a while I'll watch Skip Bayless. All right, so I have no room to talk shit on anybody who watches some bullshit, whether it's on TV or internet. I'm not jabbing people who like me and also like Monty. That's cool, whatever. I'm just pointing out some bullshit. I'm pointing out some bullshit on why he's attacking this guy, Immaculate, who, I mean, he's supposed to be Mr. Big Time here. Why are you going after Immaculate? And trying to make yourself seem like the oracle of information. I got people everywhere. You don't take a shit unless Monty knows about it. Okay.
I spoke to a source close to Washington State today who told me there have not been conversations between Washington State and the Big 12 since the day that the conference melted down, when they called the Big 12 looking for a lifeline, and the Big 12 said, at this time, we are not prepared to expand further.
Why would they tell you? Why would they tell you that? Why would they tell you if they are talking to the Big 12? They don't want to embarrass themselves if it's another no. Why would Big 12 people tell you anything if they actually did have a conversation with Washington and Oregon? They're not trying to embarrass Washington and Oregon. That's not the way the Big 12 does business. All right, they're just going to deny, and not say anything. Even if there has been just rudimentary conversations, nothing big time. All right. And this guy's, okay. I don't know why they would tell Monty. I don't know why they're picking up the phone for Monty.
There have been, from a source close to Washington State, there have been no conversations. I don't know how else to say that. I have spoken to you about Oregon State multiple times. I'm going to put another graphic up. This is a presentation that was given to the Oregon State Assembly by, and look at the names who wrote this.
Look.
President Murphy, Scott Barnes, the athletic director.
Say it ain't so.
Now, before I show you this next slide, if you
slide?
are going to get $320 million, would you tell your state assembly that you have a $42.1 million funding gap after the fiscal year 2025?
What an asshole.
If you were getting $320 million, would Oregon State President Murphy and Scott Barnes, the athletic director, have put a presentation together for the Oregon State Assembly and said, we're going to need $42.1 million to cover our conference and media revenue shortfall, ticket sales, annual funds, and miscellaneous income that we are not going to get? Note the last one, miscellaneous income, that goes all the way down to $12.6 million and is a $2.23 million shortfall.
Again, this dumb prick, okay, the new payouts for 2024 and 2025 have not been announced. They have not been talked about yet. I'm sure they've been talked about, but nothing's official. Why would you tell, all right, your state officials, why would you tell your state officials that you're going to get $320 million when you don't know the exact number? They're not going to include that because you don't know. You don't know. You got a shit ton of court shit going on in November. All right, you're already fighting with the fleeing PAC schools that are going to the Big 10, going to the Big 12. you're fighting with them just right now just to keep the assets of the pack, keep control of the assets of the pack. All right, so that's horrible, retarded evidence that Monty's putting out there, because there's no way in hell you could take future projections of a 12-team playoff without actually knowing what that money is. Right now, you got experts that are estimating $320 per conference. Estimating $320 per conference. That's where, okay, don't just take it from me. Don't just take it from me. Let's take it to the man himself. Let me give you some full view here, and let me let you bust. I'm going to let Immaculate bust it down.
Good. I have, and I'm no credit to me. You've done so much research on this with Oregon State, Washington State. The opportunity.
Nope, Immaculate's just a fucking hack. Look at him. He looks like a hack.
For them to go to the Big 12, whether or not ESPN would pay for that, and as you do,
with no proof, look at those eyes. Those are the eyes that'll steal that monthly check from your grandmother. Look at it. Look at it. He would take it, go to the Caribbean, spend it on whores. That's Immaculate. That's how Monty sees them.
Do this math. What you see is just a slide $300+ million sitting here for those two schools. If something doesn't happen, how?
Well, first off, thanks for having me on, Drake. Really appreciating that opening.
Blah, blah, blah.
We drop right into this, when we look at the math of this, it's huge. It's pretty much the story that no one's talking about that everyone should be talking about. As we know, in the 4-team playoff, payouts have been anywhere of around $100 million per year per power conference, and that gets.
And I read it to you while Monty had it on his show on his screen. He didn't bother going to that level. He left that out, even though it was right there for you to read. All right, because Monty's an idiot. But let's keep going. Immaculate just brought that up. That is the current payout now, about $100 million per conference. And it's not just the power conferences. It's also the group of 5 that are getting the same payout.
Spread out between the teams that are in them. But it gets paid out to the conference no matter how many teams they have. And they want to change that. And here's why. The estimates going forward with the 12-team are upwards of over $300 million a year. So when you start to do the math on that, what you don't want to have are certain conferences that are, say, smaller than others, getting much more per school than those that are upwards of, say, now 18 schools, 16 schools. You could do the math. Say if you have a conference of 2 schools, how much more they're going to get than the others. It's a huge story, and it's why they're fighting right now.
So what I'm hearing from what you're saying is that if Washington State and Oregon State can somehow wait this thing out and keep the Pac-12 where it is, even if it's just those 2 schools, they're staring down the barrel of a $160 million payday that would come majority from TV deals.
Yeah, and with these type of numbers, there's variance in that. But it's a lot of money. And the problem for everyone is that Mr. Kirk Schultz is sitting on the board that votes on this. And that board, from all reports that I've seen, I've never seen an opposing report on this, requires unanimous consent. It requires a unanimous vote. So without him saying yes, they cannot change the way this works. They've wanted to change this so that way it would be per school. And if they had succeeded in doing that, well, then the amount that the pack would get would be much less. Obviously, with only 2 schools there,
right.
Whatever.
Okay, so the gist of it, what he's saying is the 4-team playoff is going to expand to the 12-team. The estimates is that's going to pay over $300 million per conference, because that's how it's all paid out right now, is per conference. And he's saying that they want to change it to a per team, right? Kurt Schultz is also on the CFP board, and you need an unanimous decision. And of course, Kurt Schultz isn't going to vote against his own interest in the Pac-2. And by the way, I don't believe any of the group of fives are going to want to change that either, because they get schools pulled away from them all the time. There's always this shuffling. It affects the bottom conferences more than it does the top conferences.
The payout per school that they want, that's all that they would have gotten. But in holding this up where it is right now, the rule still stands that it's a one lump sum to the conference, whom then divides it among their schools, no matter how many there are. So we are at a very important junction in this scenario right now, and they have some pretty good chips in their hand.
So basically, and when this was decided to move the college football playoff into a different format, obviously the money becomes much greater in that scenario. This was not with the idea that USC and UCLA wouldn't be anchoring the Pac-12, or that the conference would fall apart altogether. So now, of course, they had no idea when they made this. Oh, yeah, we'll give everybody, Power 5, equal payout. We're good to go. Now that it's down to a Power 4, but with still that Pac-12 hanging around with two schools, it sounds like ESPN will have to do something with Washington State and Oregon State, and even those two schools. I'm sure they wouldn't be too upset because they want to be in a conference. They want to play football games, so they can sit there and get 160 mil, or they can go to another Power 5. It seems they don't want to go to the Mountain West. They're going to fight that like hell. So does that make the Big 10 the Big 12? The landing spot.
Well, that's what I have said out in public. That think about it. If there's $300 million sitting there to go to the Pac-12, and you can get rid of the Pac-12, that's $300 million that gets spread between the other power conferences. Mm-hmm. That's whose interest it is to make this happen.
See, that's not being some tinfoil hat guy. All right. That's actually looking at the information that's out there. All right. Immaculate isn't making shit up. This is all stuff that's in the rules. All right. This is all things that are out there. So you don't have to be a flaming ass bag on Utah internet to figure this out. But you do have to be a fat tub of shit to make shit up about somebody. All he's saying is, hey, there could be a reason for Washington State and Oregon State to go to the Big 12. One of it is to get that money off of ESPN's books and get that money redirected into the other conferences. So everybody would be on board with the Pac going away. That's the leverage Oregon State and Washington State have.
To get rid of the Pac-12 and get that money put out back into the open pool.
So this isn't just the Big 12 that is invested in this now, because you think about that $300 million is split up as well against to the ACC and to the. I mean, we're talking $70+ million per conference if this is made. What's not making sense in my brain here? Like, why isn't this being talked about? Why is this on the cutting room floor? It seems
it gives Washington State and Oregon State power. If everyone knows about it. And that becomes part of the jargon out there. Everyone realizes, how much power they have now. Now is $30 million enough to get them off of that? Do you have to pay them more? Do they say, nope, we're not joining unless we go to the Big 10? I mean, you don't want them to have as much power. Like just you talking about it might be enough, But no one is talking about that. But it's out there. You can find it. It's on analytics. It's everywhere. This is the value of what's coming, and this is how the payout works. So, you don't need a media person to tell you that this is the case. It's just a matter of simple math, really.
Yeah,
and I think that's enough. I think that kind of makes our point here. So as you can see, you don't need Monty to tell you what the truth is, the information, because he cuts out information. He cut it out in his own show about the true payout number, which is $100 million. And it doesn't matter if it's a Power 4, Power 5, or a group of 5. They all get the same. That's going to be the future power struggle of the 12-team playoff. But however, in 2024, there will be no changes. Why won't there be any changes? Because Greg Sankey sure as hell wanted them, right? That's the media narrative. Oh, Greg Sankey and the SEC and the Big 10, they'll get whatever they want. They'll get anything and everything they want. Really? Seems to me those group of 5 guys shut him straight the hell up, didn't they? They did. And you think any of those group of 5 people are going to back the SEC or the Big Ten or the SEC or the Big 12 when it comes to the Pac-2 getting their share of the money? I don't think they will. I don't think they will. Because they know first it's the Pac-2, then it's them. Then they're going to come after their money too. Because that's exactly what they want, a per team payout. Well, unfortunately, you've got to have unanimous vote. And Kurt Scholes is one of them. If you try to cut that off, you try to change that up, now you got court. All right, now you got lawsuits. That's what you got. So maybe the easiest way is somehow to get the last 2 of the pack into the Big 12. Maybe it works. I don't know. The Immaculate didn't say for sure that was going to happen. He just said it looks like, from all the information that he's seen, actual, real, fundamental, researched information, you big fat bastard. That's what he saw. It's simple numbers, simple math, like he said. So, I understand if y'all are a fan of the Monty Show. Like I said, I watch some Stephen A. Smith. I watch some Skip Bayless. And these guys ain't the oracles of all truth, and neither is Monty. He likes to think, he likes to come across that way, right? That's part of the entertainment value he has. I just can't stand it when he goes after, when he starts, punching down on people. You ain't got to do all that. You ain't got to call somebody a conspiracy theorist. I mean, there is nothing Immaculate said that's not factual. All right, when he said something was factual, it was factual. When he said, I think, it's I think. He's allowed to speculate on shit. Monty does all the time. Every show. Speculation. It ain't all just factual shit. It's speculation. Everybody does it. It's fun to do it. It's a sports. This is what it's about. Monty's just a pecker. Let's put it that way. He's a big fat pecker. Screw him. Screw him right in his ass. Tired of Monty. Good God. This dude looks like he ain't showered in 5 days. 5 days of just ugh. Stewing in his own shit. And remember, this time last year, I made a video of the same asshole Monty coming out talking about, well, Oregon and Washington ain't going. Have they left yet? Have they left yet? No, they haven't left yet. They're still in the pack. They're still in the pack. Pack ain't going away. No one's talking to the Big 12 teams. No one's talking to the Big 12. No one's looking. No one's going to go. Colorado ain't going to the Big 12. Utah's not going to go. Absolutely not. It ain't happening. I'm getting tired of hearing this shit. And here we go. And of course, I'm going to spare you, Monty just shitting on realignment. Oh, we got to talk about. It's been so nice talking about football. Now we got to talk about realignment again. And I guess it ain't going to go nowhere. No, it ain't going to go nowhere, you fat bastard. And all your biggest numbers is when you talk about realignment. Stop hating on realignment. That's the reason your channel has grown, you dumbass. What an idiot. Wow, what an idiot. I love realignment. The most growth I've ever seen on my channel is because of realignment. Another reason not to like Monty. You're wanting to shit and you want to shit on everything that's bringing you subscribers. But just go look at the numbers he has when he's talking about the Jazz, or when he's talking about baseball or the NFL. Right in the toilet. When he talks about that's why he opens his show about realignment. All right, the numbers skyrocket. It's like that for every channel. And we should be thanking God for realignment. You know what? And thank God for Immaculate. He's not some tinfoil hat guy. He's just looking at the data, looking at the analytics, telling you the facts of it. And yeah, sure, you'll get some speculation on future shit. Just like people do on Wall Street. They take information, they take facts, and they speculate on it. And then there goes the economy. Good God Almighty! But that all that was Monty, just trying to make himself look like some kind of big to-do. All right. He's trying to put himself like he's 365 sports, like he's, you know, like he's Brett McMurphy, like he's John Wilner, like he's somebody, right? But he's not. He's just another asshole on YouTube. And this asshole on YouTube is done with this video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back with some other crap later. Bye.